Welcome back to Stationeers, and it's time to go through some updates today. I was going to go on to furnaces, but an update came out with a huge amount of content that all of you will probably be interested in. I don't think there's anything in here that at least some of you won't be interested in, so stay tuned and we'll get into updates. To start off with, not cable coil, new at the electronics machine. Where are you? Kit elevator. There we go. So 4 gold, 2 copper, 2 steel, 2 solder, and you get to make elevators. New feature. So I removed our ladder and I removed the frames just in advance, just so we can get an elevator here and get an idea of how it works. And of course, it may well be of more benefit to you people with below ground bases, as well as me with an overground base. So we can grab this and we can put the elevator in. We get 2 options: the shaft, scroll wheel, the level. We want the level and we want to make sure the doors are facing us, like this. Change back to the shaft, and then we can put the shaft in above it, and one above that, and then another level at the top. Okay, so we have the carriage. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, I had to cough there. We have the carriage essentially being created with the first level you put in. And then everything gets merged when you create the other levels above it. In our case, we're going to have a level number 3 up at the top. Now you'll notice something odd, well not odd, but unusual, in that we can only get out of the elevator at the same side that we got in. So you can see it doesn't have an option for a double-ended elevator. Slightly annoying for me, maybe not so much for you guys, but annoying for me. They could have fixed that by putting the controls on that side of the elevator or this side and putting the power spine, which is at the back, opposite them. Then you can have 2 doors, one on either side. But they haven't done that, so I will have to cope by putting in a a new floor level up there if I want to keep an elevator long term. And you see it's not powered at the moment, so I have got a power spine around the back. You'll just see that for a second. I've not hooked up the data ports. I have just hooked up the power ports, apart from the top one, just to finish it off in case I want to in the future. And that goes around and around the front. And now we just need to get cable connected there, I think. Yeah. So let's just get rid of you, and then we'll just snip that connection right there, put in a junction, and we're powered. So if we head in there and if we press up, doors close, we go up in the elevator, floor 3, and doors open to nothing, of course. I don't have a floor yet, but everything works as you might expect. And I think we'll have a call button as well. Let's just see what we have here. So if I press that button up there, it's yellow at the moment. Will you work? Yep. So up it comes, up to the top level, and everything works as you expect. So good. Down we go. Elevators. I quite like the idea. And very useful, particularly if you have a deep underground base. You don't want to have lots and lots of stairs, which are actually quite expensive. And instead, you have a straight shaft down. Very happy with that. Maybe worthwhile having a 2 wide shaft, because you may want another shaft next to it for either a second elevator, which is interesting as an option, or indeed for pipes and cables and such like that. It does require it at the back anyway, so maybe this is your going to be your access shaft instead, and then you can just have 2 parallel elevators, so you need a 2x2 shaft in that case. Okay, that's not the only thing though that we just got. We got a bunch of other stuff. First of all, it's a relatively minor thing, but it's a change to the labeler. And just a really, really welcome change, to be honest. If we go over to any chip, do I have anything exposed? I've hidden away a lot of it. Yeah, you're all... In fact, we have some inside the hydroponics. Let's go and take a look. Remember how we used to have to need a screwdriver? Oh, that power's going down now. I wonder how much the elevator takes. In any case, let's just head over here for a second. Yeah, remember I used to have a screwdriver. It used to really annoy me that you need to set values using your screwdriver. Well, now you don't. Now we'll be able to rename, not just rename, but if we point at the what was previously the up down controls, we could just set them directly. We can set them directly with the labeler. So this is currently 303, so if I want to set this to something else, I can just type it in now. And, for argument's sake, 302. And it works. Good. And you can do that for any kind of memory, logic memory that you have. Pretty good. Nice extension. I think I'm even going to I need to take all of this out now. We're not going to need it anymore. So I am going to do that off camera at some point. Maybe not this episode. Let's just depressurize and move on to the next thing. Okay, moving on to the next couple of things. If you have an underground base and you wanted hydroponics until now, you had to have a room above ground. You had to have this kind of setup. You don't need the sides necessarily, but you at least need the top, which will cover you for most of the day, apart from near sunrise and sunset. Now that's changed. If you want an underground base with hydroponics entirely underground, you can now build the hydroponic station. So that's going to need nickel, which we don't really normally have separate, but I did go ahead and produce some. So that should be able to make it now, I think. I've got everything it needs. Oh, there we go. Helps if you turn on the machine grey. There we go. Okay, and you'll see just below there, gas canister smart. What I thought were batteries last episode on the screenshots weren't batteries. They were gas canisters. I have just about enough. And of course, I'm going to set them as my sort of breathing tanks, I think. Probably everything overall. It's a good use for silicon. We don't really have much use for silicon other than the glass stuff. So having those available as well will be very useful. Now, apparently they will take up to twice the pressure that a regular gas canister will. So we can then set this higher. But whoops, I just need to take that out first. We can set this higher. What I don't know is, will this go over 10k? It will, yeah, it doesn't. Okay, so interestingly, in that I can put this in here, and it should show its fill level at some point. That's 4.7. Is it showing its fill level on the side there? Still 4.7. Oh, helps if I turn the pressure regulator on. Yeah, so that should show fill over time. We're going to have to design something that will get the pressure higher than this, though. I think we may be able to write a custom pressure to this with electronics that is above this current top level, which would be very nice if we could. That would be very, very useful indeed. I'm going to put this canister away so that I have like an emergency canister of air if I need it. However, I think we're probably going to go with these smart canisters from now on. They should be better at it. Okay, so I'll leave that on. The other thing was, of course, the hydroponic station. Now this is going to need power, and a lot of it. We should probably get my tablet. And I want the network analyzer, don't I? Have I got the atmosphere analyzer? I do. Let's get the network analyzer. And swap them over. Let's just replace the battery while I'm at it. There we go. And let's get that in here. I'm not sure if we've got any power in there. Well, we do, actually. We do have power in there. Not that I need this for any other reason than to put it in there for testing power. At least I just need it to have the right atmosphere, just in case I decide to put a plant in there. So here we need power, so we can always connect it to, you know, one of these power lines. Do I have power going down and around the back? I think I do. Let's just grab this. Let's rip the floor up for a second. Yep, there we go. So if I wanted to put this down, in fact, let me just bring up a couple more floorboards. Well, floor gratings, not floorboards, but okay. So how big are you? Wow. Okay, you're bigger than I was expecting. Do I have controls on any of the sides, however? Well, it's got a water input, and it's got power inputs on the same side, and a power switch. So, what I want to do then is bring that over here. Okay. And you'll see we have 4 stations for, obviously, plants. And we have some grow lights in the top. It's a shame there's no power connection on this side, but that's okay. We can get it from this side. And because there is a single pipe connection there, I haven't got a pipe, have I? Ah, well. I can actually... Can I remove you? Are you on top of a pipe, or you... You're not on top of a pipe. But you should pass through anyway, so I just need one more pipe. And that just means I just need to connect this up with some cable. Let's get you going. In fact, that's the data, which I don't even need. For the moment, anyway. You can pull the data about all the kind of various bits and pieces you might expect for hydroponics here to decide, you know, what your plants actually need. There we go. Let's just drop that for a second. Grab my clippers out and destroy that cable. There we go. So let's just put this away and let's see how much power this thing uses. Where's my tablet again? Oh, I dropped it. There we go. So, network analyzer. Okay, we're using 1.6 kilowatts at the moment. Let's turn it on. And we're now using 1.7 kilowatts, and it's got a data error. Yes, that's fine. Hydroponic Station is 100 watts. That's not too bad. But it is 100 watts constantly that you'll have on. But it is the same as a pressure regulator, so I'm actually quite happy with that. 100 watts is fine. And as you might expect, it's weird that these are fluorescent tubes. I would expect LEDs more than anything else to save a little bit of power. And the LEDs themselves, they don't take all that much power. It depends on just how powerful you want your grow light to be. Just to get this running, we just need to connect one pipe there, and that will work. So I'm not going to show that on camera. I'm sure you get the idea. I will probably do it between the episodes because I do want to actually just try growing the stuff in there. It does mean, of course, that I could cover this with walls if we wanted to. If we wanted to take the power loss, of course, remember you only have 4 stations in this, but 4 stations, that's 25 watt a station, and I've got pretty much the same here. So this is like 200 watts worth, except that I don't have to use power because the sun. However, this presumably will let you grow things twice as fast, unless it has a rest cycle for the plants. I don't think it's going to be that realistically modelled. In reality, you need to shut down light onto all kinds of hydroponics because the plants need to rest. Otherwise, you'd be driving them to grow 24 hours a day. That would not be good for the plants. Let's just get that. And let's move on. So what else do we have in this gigantic patch? Okay, so in our autolathe, and probably in the fabricator as well, to be honest, but this is sort of a more basic recipe. We can create a kit crate. So we can create crates. That's harder to say than you might imagine. So let's just get a couple of those. Let's grab this kit crate and right click and we get a dynamic crate. So if you've ever wanted these as storage, you can. And I will have a couple of them there. I'm not going to inflate the other one yet, but you get the idea. If you want 10 slots of storage in a kind of chest shape as opposed to a locker, I kind of prefer the lockers. We've got more than 10 slots of storage in these. We've got 30, but if you want to create your own, you can. I think there's also a mount as well. Is the mount in here? Crate mount, or is it in... Oh, container mount, there we go. You're going to require iron, aren't you? Yeah. Let me just put that in there. That should be quite quick. I made some more nickel up just because that's going to be probably useful if I want more hydroponics units. Actually, I wonder if they will still work without the grow lights if we put them in this kind of environment. Be interesting in that it's not quite as compact as that, but it does mean you can leave the plants in there, and then at night time we can detect the night just because we're doing the same thing with our solar panels over there. And you can turn on the grow lights then. Of course, then that saves power during the day and gets us even faster growing crops. I don't know what you think. Do let me know. I'd be quite interested to see what your thoughts are as far as that's concerned. Are you nearly done? You're normally nearly done. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, should be done. Okay. Now this next one is sort of quality of life if you're improvement if you're like me, and you don't like dragging these things around, these crates, because developers heard what we said, because we want to align them quite nicely. And you couldn't do that before. Now you can. So if we want to build a container mount, we can. So I'm not sure which way around this is going to be to start off with. May not matter. Let's put it here. Okay, and if we grab our crate and put it the way we want it, I guess. Let's just drop it. I'm going to bring it around this way. This is why it's so fiddly to create these things, and why this will be so much of an improvement if we want to use these crates, of course, entirely up to you. And we connect it down to the mount, which of course means that then the crate is in a specific location, won't move around, and will be nicely aligned with the rest of your base. Thank you very much. You know, I want to try something. Will you now let me set you to any value I choose? It's set to 10,133 at the moment. Can I set this? Ah, ha 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 ha. 16k. Will you let me set you to 16k? No. Aw. So annoying. If I just set this to 10,000, just make sure it is actually working. Yeah, that's so much faster. Thank you very, very much. Are you up to 7.8k now? The gauge still isn't moving. Oh, some bugs. Now you can see it in my inventory. You see it has yellow dots. But when I drop it, it still has 2 grey dots. Not sure if that's a bug or not, but I'll take it at its word that it can handle more than 10k, and we'll leave it running. Yeah, this relabeler, I should make another one. They are generally pretty good. What are you up to? Oh, you have ignited again. Let's just turn you off for a second. I can probably use that to make some stuff. Do we need any more stuff? Probably some more iron. Let me just quickly use that up if we can. In fact, we can just open that door at the bottom as well and get the iron through. There you go. Charging up. And some iron. Same thing again. And we'll just use that up in the auto lathe. Pretty good. Yep. 100 Gs of iron. Okay, a couple more things I'm not going to build right now just because I'm out of gold, but there is a few more circuit boards that we had previously. There's one called a graph display and another one in here somewhere I need to take a look for. The graph display is pretty good. Allows you to basically create a console, just like we have consoles for temperature and pressure or the bottom of the base, but now it will graph values. So you can set it to, I don't know, graph power levels, for instance, or power usage, attach it to, you know, like a network analyzer or something along those lines. Pretty cool. So we probably will make use of that, maybe some of total power level sort of indicator or power level over time, just so at a quick glance I can take a look and see whether that is increasing or decreasing. What am I actually looking for? The motherboard. Is it the motherboard? 1 second. Okay, there is another circuit board apparently, but I can't find the thing. Maybe I'm just missing it. I am often to be accused of being blind here, but I don't see circuit board hash display, and that's what we're actually looking for. No, not in the circuit boards, and it's not in the electroprint either. So maybe it's just in the general listing or something along those lines, or out of order. It's a shame we don't have search. I keep on wanting search in here. I just want to be able to type something like FNEI and get to it. But no, looks like I can't find it. But I'll take a look between the episodes. If it is there, please do let me know in the comments so I know exactly where it is. I haven't seen it in here either. The hash display essentially lets us show like a representation of what's currently in a machine. So we could use it to attach to the fabricator, see what that's currently creating. We could put it to a furnace to show you what's currently being burned, melted, alloyed, whatever. And you know, it's just like a visual display kind of thing. Very useful, kind of nice for decorative purposes. But other than that, yeah, you know, it's up to you whether you want aesthetics versus decoration. One other thing, however, though, that's sort of connected with another piece of information in that Logic can now read and write the hash of an item. Hash is just a unique code that's guaranteed unique for that item. It's an integer in this case, but so let's say a 7 or 8 digit long number, and if you put something in there to read the hash value, you can find out the exact hash value for a specific item. That means if you put that into a logic writer into a memory unit, you have a memory unit that represents the item. So you can create some kind of automated factory to say, separate from all of these, just have these in another room entirely. You have a control board, maybe like a big soundboard with lots of buttons, and just say, you know, just give me, I don't know, 10 frame, so enter a quantity, press frame and press go, and it'll just create 10 frames for you. Because it knows what the hash of a frame is. You can actually request it from certain items. Sort of a much more late game automation. Oh, I do actually have gold. I just forgot about it. It was back here. That's good. Why don't we make one of those? Graph display circuit boards. Yeah, we'll get that up and running. Yes, so sort of a late game sort of automation. Clear that, which I like the idea of quite a lot. I don't know what you guys think, particularly for automation. Most people normally approve, so that should be pretty good. I want a console, don't I? I need a console and some glass. Consoles, kit consoles, there we go. Doesn't need much gold there. And then glass, I think I should have around here somewhere. Yeah, we've got one glass sheet. Well, I need to go and get some more silicon then. So what can we actually do? I guess what we can do is maybe do something like monitor this. So if I just remove this panel eventually, drop you, and not that wall, not the wall, I want the covering essentially. Nope. 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 There we go. So we can then put in a console here for a second, for argument's sake. Yeah, we can't attach it. It needs a grid, doesn't it? Will it floor mount? Can it mount in here? I guess not. I'm gonna have to put it somewhere else. Yeah, I guess we can put it here for now. So let's just rotate that and get that circuit board. Pop it in here, and then, well, did I put the glass? Yeah, I did put it in my backpack. There we go. Okay, so we are going to need some power for this. Oh, look. We've got some power from here. So let's just, I don't know, drop this for a second. Change with the clippers. And then we're probably going to need a couple of junctions for this. So let's put the junction in here. There we go. And then we probably want to put a junction going the other... I will get these junctions correct one of these days. A junction here for some electronics or something along those lines, but we should have power to this thing. It's going to, yeah, it's going to have some issues because it can't actually graph anything until we set it with something. Can we just do that with a data disk and choose a device, or do we have to actually read it in, I wonder? Let's just put the data disk in. Yeah, we can read a device, so let's take a look at what we can actually read. Okay, so greenhouse temperature. Remove that. And there we've got a nice graph going of our greenhouse temperature. So if you wanted a safety, like I have on the other side with that that sort of small LED sort of this sign, it's not very good. Instead, we can have a graph, so you can see that change over time. Now, of course, at the moment, that isn't actually changing all that much. It's a 306 because that's where we set it to. So there shouldn't be any much of a problem with keeping that that greenhouse where it is. But you get the idea. That will be quite useful, I'm sure, in the future. And our batteries are depleting. Oh well. I need to put more solar panels up there, and I need to put that spine in of heavy cable. I'll do that between the episodes. What else do we have this update? There's quite a bit of logic changes. Now, the logic changes I can't really go into with a much expanded setup. But briefly, there's a few things like we can sort of share a device across multiple networks using a logic mirror. That's one of the new things that comes in. Is there any actually new items, or are they just like these scroll wheel options? So if we have a look here for the logic, yeah, so switch, processor, memory, I/O, and that appears to be it. Let's get the switch for a second. In fact, I may already have one, because I didn't use it for anything else. I do have a logic switch. Okay, so switch, lever, button, dial. Nothing new in there. What I'm looking for is the diode slide thing that was advertised. I'm not sure if that's on one of the other parts. Do I have any other electronics in here? Looks like I don't. Fine, let me have a quick look for that. It's not on the switch side, unfortunately. It's on the LED display, which it's fine. Just because it said as a diode, I thought it might be on switches. But if we scroll through the light options, we've got our various different controls for that, and diode slide is one of them. So if we just change this to on, then it lights up, but that will change between red and green depending on what we set it to with a writer. So you can use this as indicator lights in your base that isn't just on off. You know, you might have had two different lights, two different LEDs for on and on for different states, like, hey, things are too hot or too cold, or whatever you actually wanted. So it's a sort of indicator. I think I will use that one, actually. I do quite like the idea of doing that for just showing all lights being green for, I know, if you know, our hydroponic space and the right temperature and pressure and stuff like that. That's something that I'm going to want to do at some point soon. So yeah, I will have to build a circuit to demonstrate that. That's not something I can do right away at the moment. Another quick thing, just another quality of life. Remember, I set the units for our memory unit. Well, the units for our temperature in there. You may not have seen, but right next to that, when we enter a value, let's just cycle to the interior. There's a drop down. So now it will remember previous values that you've entered. Oh, it's 10 apparently. Let's just give this a go. And it's not letting me choose. If I set 300 and then confirm and I hit it again, no. I'm good at feeling that should be giving me the ability to drop that down and select previous values. However, not working at the moment. But that should maybe on certain things, but certainly not on that memory unit. Okay, I think we pretty much covered most of the content of the patch. There's a lot of miscellaneous stuff that's very much to do with in-detail stuff, so this is just the main big picture stuff. But there's lots of things like more stuff being addressable by logic, and we'll cover that off in an actual episode, showing it in use, so showing what I'm going to actually use that for. Otherwise, let me just have a look. Is there anything briefly extra I wanted to cover other than this? We've not really covered the security printer at all because I'm playing it on my own, but that will help against griefing. I suppose I should demonstrate that at some point, just so those of you who are playing in multiplayer servers have something to look at. So that's fine. Stuff about motherships, we're not to motherships yet, so that is fine as well. And again, lots of missing, well, yeah, lots of little tiny changes. I did want to leave it there, I think, shorter episode, just to get this just within updates for this particular patch out of the way. Main thing, of course, being elevators and those really nice canisters. I want to leave it here, I think, for now. If anyone wants to comment below, if there's anything I've missed that's really important, please let other people know. Put them in the comments, let other people know who are watching this, particularly if there's anything you find really, really useful. I had to flip the system back on now. It's probably going to drain the rest of the base. That's why I need that separate power line coming down there. And otherwise, I'll see you next episode for some more Stationeers. If you like this episode, I've got, someone was saying they want more update episodes when a patch is available, for me to just go through with my advice and how I'd use certain things. That's what I've done this episode. If you like that, or want me to do that with other patches, I haven't really done it too much in the past. Happy to talk through any major points rather than you reading through paragraphs and paragraphs. If you prefer that in video format, do let me know. Otherwise, we'll get back to normal next episode with our furnace setup and, of course, our stackers, sorters, and load balancers. All right, thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next time, and for more Stationeers.